The U.S. Civil Society Working Group is a non-partisan network of organizations with expertise in women, peace, and security. Established in 2010, it is the go-to group of civil society experts on conflict prevention and conflict resolution efforts. As part of its work, the group connects policymakers with women leaders from conflict countries, who are some of the most effective voices on the ground. In 2017, the group brought together 20 such leaders to exchange lessons and best practices on the women, peace, and security agenda. It also connected these leaders with U.S. policymakers and provided examples on how women can prevent violent extremism.
I think the women that have joined us here for the Global Forum bring a really important perspective about what it feels like to experience violent extremism. I think it's easy in Washington to think about our policies in terms of budgets and force reduction, while these women bring, this is what it feels like, this is what we see, this is how we address it in our own communities.
We create the policies, whether it's, at our own U.S. foreign policy or international policy, but how does that actually get implemented? None of the policies we're making matter if you don't have those women on the ground.
Terrorism and violent extremism is a global problem, is a global concern. A lot of women's organizations are stepping up and mobilizing to deal with this threat within their communities. I think the problem is that oftentimes their voices are not being heard at the national level or at an international level. How do we get their voices being heard by national policymakers?
What we're doing here is creating some opportunities, some spaces in which their experiences can be heard by people who help shape policy and by those who help make policy.
So through the network, we are able to build knowledge, to build genuine interaction, and are able then to effect policy. So it's really one of the critical ways of ensuring that we're pushing the prevention agenda.
The women have the pulse of the society at the grassroots. They know, as mothers, as sisters, they know when there is uneasiness within the communities. So their information is a wealth of information for anyone who is looking for preventing violence.
In my culture, women are peacemakers from the beginning. They are mediating between rival siblings. They are mediating between their husband and their brothers. We are interested in making sure that that quality of peace building can be developed into leadership.
For Colombia, community leaders, and especially women, have been very active in how the language and the opportunities that the peace agreement will present for women. I think it's a good lesson for other countries that are in this kind of processes.
We basically work with radicalized, extremist, vulnerable youth and women who are the facilitators or supporters of extremist groups. So we address the issue by giving them the skills to understand the impact of violent extremism on themselves and on their families.
It's really important that the women that are invited and are able to make it know that on the other side, there are those of us who want to listen. I can go to a country and visit it, but it's not the same as the individuals who live and try to build their communities, raise their children. They have another level of vested interest.
So hearing sort of the very practical experience of how people are engaging diverse elements of the population, really listening to them, and then working with them to come up with creative solutions gives us both convincing evidence that it works and inspiration to engage with others in partnership.
The U.S. Civil Society Working Group serves as a bridge between women peacebuilders who work on the ground and national policymakers. The lessons learned from these connections prove to be invaluable resources to counter violent extremism and create sustainable peace.